We're here on WowBiz Nebraska. I'm Lynn Hinderaker. It's another show. We've been here for years and years, and you are learning exponentially. I know you are. Thanks for joining us here today. And I have a special guest. I can't wait to share a little bit about him and introduce him to you. He's focused on a pulse, a key dimension of the business sector here in our state and in our community here in Omaha, Nebraska. His name is John Fullerton. I've known him for years. And he gets smarter every single time I talk to him. John, thanks for joining us here on WowBiz Nebraska.
Thank you very much, Lynn.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're thrilled to hear about the business that you're in. A lot of people don't know anything about it. And so we're going to kind of open up the doors and count on you and explaining it to us and how it works. You've been in this industry how long?
Well, almost 10 years now.
10
I've been
years?
selling businesses.
Yes.
Before that, I used to run nonprofit organizations. And after I got my master's degree, I did that for about 15 years. And I was executive director of the Association for Career and Technical Education. And then I also ran the Midwest Roofing Contractors Association at the same time. I also ran the National Frame Building Association. And then I started a manufacturing and distribution business that I later sold. And then I ran a construction company that did about 300 buildings every year. So now I sell businesses.
What an entrepreneur you truly are. Wow, I didn't really know that, John. You've already opened yourself up and we barely got the show started. Tell me now, you're with Trans World Business Advisors and you office in kind of the Midtown area. Tell us a little bit, what's it like to do what you do? Just share it in general from a very basic point of view.
Well, I'm having fun helping business owners make their dreams come true. I help people sell their business for top dollar. And for many people, it is their retirement. For many small business owners especially, and also people who've built a great business that now they want to sell it for top dollar. They might do a strategic merger and acquisition. We do small business sales right up to large multinational mergers and acquisitions in the millions of dollars. We have more than 6,000 businesses listed for sale right now because Trans World Business Advisors has more than 250 independently owned and operated franchise offices all around the world.
Okay, so you are a franchisee, that's your status, and there are 249 or so, roughly,
other offices around the
country.
World. Actually, around the world. We've got in 49 different states and also a dozen different countries. So we sell more businesses than anyone on earth. We've got about 6,000 businesses listed for sale right now by more than 600 agents. And, we sell 1,000 businesses or more every year.
We're going to dig into what it's like to be you. And I'm sure because you're an empathetic guy, to tell us how the business owners themselves are dealing with this transition. To some of them, they're happy about it, and some of them are kind of like forlorn or sad. What's it like, by the way? I'm always focusing on feelings rather than the functionality of the process. We want to get back to that, but what is it like?
Well, it feels fantastic when I can help somebody, and actually, I unofficially call myself a maker of millionaires, when I can turn a person into a millionaire and help them sell their business and or commercial real estate for more than $1 million. Wow. And, I had a business that was a nail salon. And what a surprise, would you expect that I sold a nail salon for $1 million?
That's right.
I sold another one for $765,000. But also on the other end of the spectrum, there have been salons that we were only able to get maybe $10 or $20 or $40 or $50,000.
I would think it would be a difficult thing since you're talking about salons, because it all depends on the gals that are working there for you, and they may or may not want to hang out or stay there and do their job. There's all kinds of resources that could flitter away in a day or a week. Isn't that true?
That's why we work confidentially. So we make sure that we avoid the employees and the competitors and the customers from knowing that the business is for sale. Yeah. So we write the ad copy so that people don't know exactly which business is for sale. And then I submit that copy after it's been approved by the seller to our total online marketing system, which then automatically puts the businesses out on a whole bunch of different websites. There's not a multiple listing service out there for businesses for sale like there is for houses.
About that. Yeah.
So we built our own, but only we can use it, of course. And also then we have more than 800,000 buyers in our online CRM, which then we have a program that has been written that automatically notifies this buyers as soon as we have a new listing that matches their parameters.
So do people submit say, I'm looking for a business, but I just don't know exactly, and they give you their name and phone number and stuff, and then you send things to them if they match? Does that happen that way?
Exactly right. Yes.
Okay.
You know, when a buyer inquires on a new business listing, then first of all, we've written an API in the last few years now. We've got this technology that has advanced so much. So as soon as somebody fills in a form on one of those websites like Biz Buy Sell or one of the many other businesses for sale types of websites that we advertise on, then immediately they are automatically put into our online CRM, and then immediately they are sent the non-disclosure agreement, which they have to sign before they can even find out the name of the business.
I see. Okay. So you keep it all very hush-hush, but still, nevertheless, broaden the exposure of the potential buyers into the business at the same time without threatening anything or compromising any information.
Exactly, because you know we have more buyers in our online CRM than anybody on earth. We have more active buyers looking for business opportunities than anyone. And
now, let me ask you this: is the business always essentially local? In other words, you're looking in this case for somebody in Omaha or Eastern Nebraska, or are there people from all over the country that say, I might be interested in buying that nail salon? Does that happen?
Absolutely. Yes.
Wow.
Of course, I put thousands of people in from doing over 100 deals here in the local area, and then also other agents working with Transworld. We have offices in Des Moines and in Lincoln and every other state except for Vermont.
Yeah.
And so therefore, we have tons of buyers who are looking for a great opportunity.
So as you go into the process and you say, okay, I'll work with you, what happens then? Do they see you regularly, or you're just kind of out there and you don't call them? And, how does the whole process unfold? If you don't mind me, describe it briefly.
Well, of course, we put them through our total online marketing program, and we do the basic outreach types of things, but also I do a lot of networking and, of course, sales. So I do a lot of telephone calls to the buyers.
Okay, so you do
also
that.
to potential sellers. And so we do a lot of outreach, and also, through the network within in a lot of different networking groups. Also, we have a great social media marketing program, as well as other things that we use to be able to maximize the exposure and to get the buyers. And we're looking for a match made in heaven. We really want to find the best fit for your business.
Now, when you say that, are you looking for, let's say, for instance, you find somebody who really is perfect, or it seems like they would be. And you do the legal transactions and stuff like that. Do you come back to see them then, or is there no need to really do that? Are you expecting to lift up business and profitability, or you don't worry too much about that? That's somebody else's concern, in another month or year. How does that go?
Well, what we've found is that people who groom and prepare their business for sale have the best success. Because the sad fact of the matter is, Lynn, that more than 85% of the businesses that get offered on the market overall, not by me, but overall in the market, more than 85% of them will never sell. Many of them go out of business. A lot of times people are looking to sell for the wrong reasons. Or it's not necessarily the wrong reason. It might be, it's more than money. There are important things that are in life besides just money. And sometimes people need to exit from their business. But what we found is that people who plan and run their business from day one with a plan to sell their business, they end up being more profitable and hands-free in their business. So people work less hard and they make more money. So it's best when you go into business that you have a plan about how you're going to get out of the business.
Never wiser words were spoken, actually. I'm sure that has great importance. When you get started and they say, yeah, Dad, I might want to do this and so on, do you ask to look at their documents or their papers or their, something that indicates how sales have been the last year or two? Do you do that kind of background, or is that not necessary?
Oh, it's crucial. All buyers are looking for a return on their investment. And most importantly, of course, the bankers, the underwriters, the appraisers, they're all looking at what kind of debt service coverage ratio you're going to have. If your price is so high that then with the financing, the buyer can't make a living at least, or at least make some kind of a return on their investment, but most importantly, pay the bank back, then we can't get an offer for that kind of a price, right? So you have to be realistic about the price. It is a glass ceiling, so to speak, about where it is, but there are exceptions. So, for instance, strategic mergers and acquisitions. So if you have a business which has something very unique that a competitor or somebody in another line or another vertical really needs that to be successful, and for acquiring you, then they might be able to then achieve a much higher type of return on investment. Once again, it comes down to return on investment. If you have intellectual property, or if you have something that the competitor or the other vertical wants, so that then they can actually invest by buying you in a strategic merger and acquisition, then you could get a significantly higher price than what the more traditional avenues might be.
One individual thing. And because I'm sure that there are people that are franchisees, maybe they have multiple stores around the country. This, your particular client would fit in somehow into that, because they're part of a volume organization. Their costs might be able to go down. They might be actually cheaper to run the business if it's aggregated or connected with the larger group. Does that make sense?
There are many advantages to franchises. And actually, Transworld Business Advisors is owned by the United Franchise Group, which specializes in turning businesses into franchises. So about 15 or 20 years ago, Transworld went to the United Franchise Group and said, hey, turn this business into a franchise for us. And they paid the fee to do that. And it became the most successful franchise that United Franchise Group had ever developed in many decades of its existence. And so they bought it. And so now actually the owner is still the CEO. It's kind of a partnership that way. But that partnership then led us to great advantages that really helped us in terms of how we could do our business and be successful, which have catapulted us to being the #1 business brokerage in the world, and also provide great tools for people who maybe want to make great money selling businesses.
Sure. Let's segue into that. John Fullerton with Transworld Business Advisors, and we want to thank them for sponsoring this particular show here in WowBiz, Nebraska. We're grateful for that, and we appreciate that. I'd like to just kind of spin for just a few minutes and talk about what it's like to be a professional in your business and doing something similar, maybe as an independent contractor, maybe as a real estate person that would like to work on the commercial side, So why don't you tell my audience a little bit about what it is to do that, and how much fun that must be as well.
Absolutely. We charge a very reasonable fee, and people who work together with us, and typically with brokers who are experienced and specialize in selling businesses, get a significantly higher price when they sell their business. So it's well worth the small percentage that you may pay in terms of a commission. But on larger deals, that can add up to quite a large amount. And actually, our best broker at Transworld last year made more than $5 million in commissions, and we had several who made more than $1 million.
Wait a minute. Are you serious?
Absolutely.
We're talking about being a business broker now, working on your own as an independent contractor, but working really under your tutelage a little bit here, mentoring or whatever here in the city of Omaha.
Yes, my goal for this year, my biggest goal is to build my team and to train and mentor people and help them to make the great sales and the great commissions. I really want to help other people to be able to succeed and to be able to make those great commissions, because a good broker can easily make 6 figures or $250,000 or more in commissions every year.
That's an amazing assertion, and most people would not heartily believe it. But John Fullerton, you've done a great job explaining exactly not how your own process goes, which is fantastic and well thought out, systematic, and so on, but the human beings, and of course, especially at this time in our economy right now, the ability to help people do approximately what you do, it's a major step forward, and I appreciate that very, very much. Any final comments here about working with you or working in this industry? Because I'm sure by now people are riveted, but we've got to move on to the next segment of the show. So just wrap this up and summarize this. Do you want people to reach out to your organization someplace here in the Omaha area, or what would you like to have happen to be, so we can be helpful in helping you build your team?
Well, I offer a free consultation to any business owner who'd just like to get together and talk. There's no obligation and no cost. I just love talking about business. And you can take or leave my advice if you'd like, or maybe it could lead to another relationship, or we could help you in the future. But we also have a program that helps you to groom and prepare your business for sale so you can sell it for top dollar. And it is a 1-year minimum program. I do recommend that people plan 3 or 5 or more years in advance so that they can be successful to be able to sell their business for the highest possible price. And so I would say you should get to know me. Have a free consultation. Just come to me anytime, make an appointment with me, and I'd be happy to meet with you. And let's talk about your business.
And what about the aspiring brokers that we just referred to for a second? Are you open to visiting with those people about their career and so on?
Absolutely. I love talking with people, and young people, and as well as old people. Retirees could also be a great fit with this. If you still got a lot of life in you and you're good at sales, that's really the key. Can you sell a signature on a page?
Yeah.
Can you sell a free appointment like I'm selling right now?
Sure.
Please come and meet with me.
Sure.
Can you sell a listing agreement? Can you just get a free listing agreement? Can you just get a signature on a page?
But people like this do get training, don't they? They also get a lot of
absolutely
support.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a lot of training involved. So,
Right.
but yes, we have a training manual that's about 350 pages, but we go through it, and it is a week of in-person training where you'll learn. It's like drinking through a fire hose, but you will come out clean and washed
and ready
to go.
All right,
Yes.
John Fullerton with Trans World Business Advisors. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate it. You've opened our eyes to this industry, and we look forward to seeing you again, and we appreciate all your help.
Thank you very much, Lynn.
All right. Welcome back to WowBiz Nebraska. My name is Lynn Hinderaker. I've got a little story for you, and there's a punchline at the end of it, and I'm going to challenge you. This is going to be a genuine challenge. It will inspire you. You'll probably end up arguing with your closest friend about this, because it doesn't go away. What I'm going to share with you doesn't go away. Now, about 30 years ago or so, my wife and I were living in Los Angeles. We've been working with a large advertising agency, and I had the privilege of working with Taco Bell, hands-on, day in and day out, and helping them popularize the very first value menu in the history of fast food. That would have been 87, 88, 89, 90, 91. That was when Taco Bell started having 49-cent tacos, 59, 69, 79-cent tacos. We went throughout the entire system with that, and it generated, you might have known this, a little over $1 billion in a 3.5-year period. All right, so that was an exciting period of time. I learned an enormous amount, but I had the opportunity to organize and present meetings, analysis, sales improvements with franchisees all over the United States. It was really formed a good relationship with many of them. So it was a special moment in my life. Now, as my wife and I decided we're going to come back to Omaha, Nebraska, there was kind of a going away party, the organization I was with, and they set it up on the beach of Manhattan Beach. That's in Orange County, just south of Los Angeles, right out there close to the ocean. 100 yards from the Pacific Ocean. It was a really nice place. Everybody's relaxed, having a good time, giving me a hug and all that. Well, anyway, here come 3 gentlemen walking in the door. This is like a restaurant, bar kind of place. And they walked in, they had their suits on, they had wingtips on, I'll never forget that. And nobody knew what was going on, and nobody said anything about it. And they came over directly to me. I was standing, I think, at the bar. And they came to me and they said, they looked right at me, no smiles, no shaking hands. They said, let's take a walk. This is what they told me. I said, oh, okay, I guess. So there we go, me and these three gentlemen right behind me. Now, we walked and we walked across the sand, and boy, the sand was getting in our shoes, especially their wingtips, I'm sure. But we kept going. It was about 40, 50 yards, and they stopped. They said, stop. So we're out there all by ourselves. I looked out, and the ocean just coming. It was really quite a moment. Well, anyway, so they said, Lynn, we've flown here all the way from Purchase, New York. Purchase, New York is the city where PepsiCo is located. At that time, not now, but at that time, PepsiCo owned Taco Bell. Anyway, so they said, we just wanted to come out here and visit with you personally and thank you for generating $1 billion for PepsiCo over the last 3.5 years. Now, I had not heard that number before, so I was a little bit staggered at that number, but they were pretty sincere, and they said, you know, we would have never allowed you and the franchisees to mess with the menu and mess with the pricing. That you're not supposed to do that in our franchise agreement. But Lynn, you were ahead of us, and you went ahead and did it anyway, and you took a risk, and as a result of that, we've generated all these incremental sales. It's an incredible thing, and we know it's incredible, and you deserve the credit. Now, at this point, I had not said one word. I'm just listening intently to these three strangers saying some very flattering and important things, I guess. And they said, look, we would not like you to leave. We'd like you to stay here in Los Angeles. You're an innovative guy, and this is an innovative city, and you know, you probably do well here. But we also understand family comes first. So going back to Omaha, we get that, all right? We get that, we respect that. But we want to tell you one thing. Now, the guys were talking intermittently. Of course, both of them they were all speaking, all three of them. So I would kind of go like this and listening to them. Didn't say one thing. They said, look, here's the deal. When you get back to Omaha or Nebraska, we want you to look for companies. This is our suggestion to you, because you've made each of us $250,000. Each of them, these gentlemen right here. That was their bonus. And so this is what we think you should do. Go back there and look for companies that think they know what they are doing, all right? Because we at PepsiCo, we think we know what we're doing. If you had come to us, we would have probably said, no, you're not going to do that. We're not going to allow you to do that down there in Lawton, Oklahoma, and so on. And, you know, and we know better than you do. But we were wrong. We were wrong. So go back and look for companies that think they have their act together. And then, Lynn, and I'll never forget these words. They said, do what only you can do. Do what only you can do. Thanks very much. They shook my hands, turned around, and strode back to the restaurant. I never saw him again. I was so shaken by this experience. My knees were, I was very jittery. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to stand up. I thought I might actually fall to my knees. I had the sense that this was a pivotal moment in my entire adult life. Anyway, so that moment never left me for obvious reasons. But here's the thing, and this is what I want to share with my audience. I've spoken with you for 8 years now. Find out if it's possible for you to do what only you can do. Just think about that phrase. Do what only you can do. That may be the most difficult phrase any of you have heard, or as far as a challenge, you know. So the first thing is you've got to figure out, what is it that I can do uniquely well? That's a big question. There are probably people who might want to tell you that, but you've got to come to grips with that particular idea. Then you have to have the courage to start leveraging and utilizing that idea. I'm doing what only I can do. Blah, 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 blah. I'm working over here. I'm working over there. I live here. I'm doing this. I know what it is that I can do that nobody else can do. Interesting, huh? All right, so that's the end of my story, and that's my challenge. Think about what it would take for you to know for sure that you could do something in the context of whatever it is. It doesn't have to be work, doesn't have to be a job, but it could be something that only you do extremely well. Now, I'm going to move on here before the show is over. We're going to move right along. You know, I'm very concerned. I'm sure you know this by now. Very concerned about the whole brain drain thing, the whole fact that we don't seem to be able to attract workers. We can't even retain workers. Right now we need 45,000 workers in our state with factories, distribution, and all that. And we have about, I think, 25,000. We're short 20,000 workers. Think about it. So, but when I go around the state and I get the chance to talk to people in Beatrice, Nebraska City, you know, Grand Island, Alliance, Aurora, I mean, all these places, good, nice places, working very hard over there, doing good things in some cases. But when I ask them, how are you doing specifically attracting workers to your community, or doing something really unique and something that really speaks to them and cultivating a message that is appropriate? Somebody gets on the phone or email and starts calling people maybe 100, 200, 300 miles away. We think we got something special here that would fit you and your background. Well, you know, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Maybe it's downtown. Maybe it's revitalizing downtown and rewriting the whole thing and getting it all put together so that baby boomers and Gen Z have no problem mixing together in a beautiful downtown environment with a lot of greenery and stuff like that. It'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Because that's what they're looking for. And there's a lot of states that go, well, you know, we put a lot of effort into this city here, so they better come. But then when they find out, it's so easy to do. You take photographs of other cities. It could be Clear Lake, Iowa, could be Leavenworth, Kansas, could be any of those, about that same size, 5, 10, 15,000 people. And you go, look at this. Look what they've got. Look what they've got. Isn't that kind of like your library down there? Yeah. So you don't have a wow factor. You don't have a secret sauce. You don't have anything here in this community that's particularly appropriate for these young people that are out there. There's 50 million young professionals that are looking for work and a place to live and so on. But we can't find a way to differentiate our state and the individual communities. So when you talk to the mayor, you talk to the economic developer, you talk to the chamber, how are you getting people to come here? We need 20,000 people. Could you commit to like getting 500 people here? They're like, I wouldn't have a clue. We don't have any money in particular for that. We don't have any money in that. We don't know. I don't think so. To heck with them. If they don't want to come here, I don't know. We're done. This is how our community and our state behaves towards this challenge. And it's a huge challenge, and it's almost embarrassing, the fact that we don't seem to come together and focus on marketing, number one, and innovation, number two. All right, so there that is. Now, sometimes people will tell me, well, we don't really have time to get into this, but we will do it on our next show. We're going to talk about urban natural people, 50 million of them, and what do these people really want? So therefore, what do we have to do? Do we rebuild? Do we redesign? Not sure, most people, but I do know that the urban natural young folks that I've just alluded to now 3 times, I know what they want. And we're not giving them or talking the way they want it to be given to them and to hear it. So you will see and hear more on our next show about these kinds of people, urban natural people. That's right. And it'll be exciting, and you'll go, oh, well, I know that now. I now kind of get it. I didn't really realize it. Here they are right here. These would be Gen Z and Gen Y. And they have some value systems that are slightly different than perhaps some of the other folks. But America's been divided into 3 segments. At my next show, I will share with you who those people are, and it will be outstanding. Thanks so much for watching us right here on WowBiz Nebraska.